sliding doors moment, which is Wexford footballers in 2011 when they played Dublin. They had themselves in a position, I think, early in the second half, around the 43rd minute. Red Barry found the net, put them 3 points ahead. This was a Dublin team that hadn't won their All Ireland yet. They hadn't kind of ended that 16-year drought as they would earlier or later in the summer. But if Wexford had to hold on, would that have completely changed the course of history, Fintan?
I don't think so, to be honest. I think it was a big missed chance for Wexford, and it's a big one for them. But I think the reasons for I think Dublin were always going to come good at some stage, given the kind of resources and population and all those kind of, I suppose, advantages that have been discussed. And I think once they were getting organised, and you think that's the same year that Dessie Farrell has that minor team, which has gone on to be the backbone of the kind of senior success. Maybe senior success wouldn't have been to the same level. Would they have come back through the back door in 2011 to win the All Ireland? Who knows? But I still think there was quite a good chance that Dublin were going to have a successful decade. But it's definitely, I suppose, a real source of regret for that Wexford team, who were coming pretty strong. I mean, you think 3 years before they had got to a Leinster final and got absolutely wiped out by Dublin in Jason Ryan's first
points,
year.
Wasn't it?
Yeah, but in fairness, that was the year they had an amazing comeback against Meath, and they beat down Armagh and got them on to final against their own. So huge progress. Then they just went through a sequence of coming up against Dublin 10, 11 and 12. Went close a couple of times, but 11 was really the one, especially when it was a Leinster final. And as we've seen now, Leinster is such a different landscape now. Probably must kind of increases the sense of regret all the more.
Yeah, I'd imagine for Wexford, that's probably, I mean, in some ways you could say that is Wexford's last ever chance to win a Leinster title.
You could say that. It looks like it looks a million miles away at the moment. If you look how Wexford have fallen off the face of the earth since 2008 semi-final and 2011, the chance they had to beat them. So you kind of could say that, and it was just an unfortunate kind of sequence of events. It was that goal really that did turn it. Redmond Barry got a goal to put them 1-7 to 7 up. Redmond Barry, who has the most amount of championship goals scored on Stephen Cluxton. 4. That's the most of anybody, which is remarkable, really, to have scored 4 goals during that short kind of period. And Wexford were going very, very well under Jason Ryan. As Fintan said, bounced back unbelievably well after that hammering in 08. They were really, really consistent side. Obviously had Matty Ford up top and loads of other names like Redmond Barry, Ben Brosnan, PJ Banville, Graham Malloy, all these sorts of guys as well. Brian Malone even was a young fella back then. But it was that kind of one with Anthony Masterson when the ball came in and he went to palm it away and ended up kind of palming it off one of his own fellas, and it goes into the back of the net. And it's hard to legislate for something like that happening, and it's very hard to pick yourself back up after it as well. It just has it can just kill any momentum that you have, and it kind of did. And it's funny, it took a freak thing that to happen for Dublin to win that game. There was only 3 points in it, and I don't know. As Fintan says, maybe we wouldn't have seen the 5 in a row that we did, but the first one was the one that Dublin needed most, and it was the hardest one to get. And there was an awful lot of hardship and an awful lot of things had to happen with McMenamin's goal and Cluxton's subsequent free at the end in the All Ireland. So if you don't get the first one, everything else becomes a lot more difficult. So I don't know if it's as clear cut as Dublin would have just dominated anyway, even if they had lost this.
I'll put you like this, Fintan. In 2002, there was obviously that famous Ray Cosgrove free against Armagh. So it's fine margins, and then Dublin don't go on and win All Ireland for another 9 years. The year before, Dublin were in a great position after coming through the back door, in a great position against Cork, your own county, going down the stretch. They obviously threw it away. Then the league final the next year in 2011, great position against Cork, threw it away. If it had to happen here, another knock to the confidence. You just don't know the wider effect of losing to Wexford, who weren't. I mean, it's unlikely they were going to win in All Ireland. If you were losing to Wexford, the doubts might creep in. Pat Gilroy's kind of belief might waver a little bit. Dublin might draw someone tougher in the semi-final. It's very, well, to be fair, they did draw Donegal. That was very tough. But their route might have been a little bit different. It mightn't have worked out the same. No,
it might not. And I suppose it would have been interesting to see, kind of confidence-wise, how they would have kind of come back from that. Because in fairness, it must have done a lot for them to kind of win ugly, in that game, because of the fact, as you said, they had those couple of close games against the likes of Cork in the league final. While from the outside, you're probably going to criticise them at the time for kind of not winning maybe a bit more comfortably. Probably what it did is it does give you that kind of sense of resilience, and then they dug it out again against Donegal that year, and then suddenly you're in an All-Ireland final, and it's kind of going down the stretch, and you have those memories of, okay, we got over the line against Wexford and Donegal. We can kind of get through in this fashion. But I mean, I was looking at so Wexford actually ended up in Limerick in round 4, and at that stage Limerick were a really, really good side, and Limerick beat them by a point in a qualifier in Portlaoise. A bit of controversy, I think, was over a late point in that game. So I suppose that would have been the challenge for Dublin. Would you have been heading out of Croke Park playing someone like Limerick and Portlaoise? How they kind of would have negotiated that kind of challenge. And the flip side of it is that just what it did for them in terms of kind of getting over the line, and then that next wave of talent that was coming through over the next few years. But I think this is kind of mainly just about Wexford because, as you said, it's just hard to see a better chance coming along anytime soon. And I think the thing I remember about that time was that they were kind of one of the few sides in different provinces that, they were kind of the second team of fans maybe, Limerick were going for it in Munster, Monaghan and Ulster, and couldn't really get over the line. Limerick probably had their best chances around then as well. A couple of years against Kerry and Cork, John Galvin was absolutely brilliant. They never really got the chance, and obviously it's completely changed their kind of football prospects now. Whereas Monaghan did manage to get over the line in 2013, and in fairness, they really, really built on it and became a big, big consistent force over the rest of the decade. Obviously, different in Wexford and Limerick. I think you have to factor in hurling being a factor. And the kind of the draw and the pull there in terms of kind of dual players going that way. But definitely probably hard to think of a better chance at Wexford in terms of getting a Leinster senior football medal, those group of players.
And when we just briefly chatted beforehand, you were talking about Bernard Brogan's performance that day. Came in as footballer of the year, and then it really didn't go his way against Wexford.
Yeah, I was kind of reading back on it and looking at it, it just seems like one of the big talking points after the game, which I don't even recall now until I'd seen this, was that the decision to take him off, because I suppose for a guy to win footballer of the year and not even have contested an All-Ireland final, that kind of shows the level of performances he summed up. He was serving up in 2010. He was sensationally good. I think that they beat Wexford that year, and he kind of dug them out of a hole in that game. Maybe a Leinster quarter or Leinster semi before they lost the Meath. So obviously all the focus and all the attention was on him in that game in 2011. And he scored 2 points from 10 shots, which is obviously a very unusual kind of inaccuracy levels. And I think that was the year he had got the winning point against Kildare in the semi-final by a point. It had been kind of a bit of a controversy as regards the late free that they won to beat Kieran McGeeney. So he was the main guy. He was the guy that they were all kind of talking about. And maybe it kind of points as well to, you think of Dublin now, if one forward doesn't shine, there's about 3 or 4 further other options. Haven't seen back the video of this game now, but is it a case that when Byrnes wasn't doing it, where the other players starting to get a bit worried? Who's going to get the scores that key for us this day? And it was James McCarthy got the second goal, which proved kind of key, and obviously they got the own goal for the first. So there's definitely not that issue for Dublin football anymore, as regards being too reliant on just one forward to shine.
Yeah, I just wonder about the butterfly effect of that, losing the confidence. Do you then go on and win as many All-Irelands as you do? Okay, so people, get your comments in. Let us know if you think that was a massive sliding doors moment in football.
Just lastly, Shane, that rivalry of Dublin and Wexford, Wexford had taken Dublin to extra time the year before in the Leinster quarter final and were up by 7 points early in the second half. The year after, they played in the Leinster quarter final again and were up 1-8 to 1-5 at half time, and Dermot Conley got sent off and McMenamin comes on and scores a goal. We're talking about sliding doors. If Wexford beat them in the 2011 final that we're talking about, do those things happen? Is there a confidence there that you can go and beat this team? So it's kind of a cause and kind of effect. If they had gotten over the line, maybe they would have had the confidence and the wherewithal to actually finish them off when they played them again.
Absolutely. So people, get your comments in.